million of those people log in every single month. 24% of men who are online use LinkedIn and 19% of women. And LinkedIn is the one social media platform where more men use it than women use it, but women professionally. So what are people doing on LinkedIn? And this was what I found really interesting. Over 25% of people use LinkedIn right now for 24 hours every day. And that's a lot of time. I tend to spend 15 to 30 minutes a day on LinkedIn because I have a system of exactly what I do each day to get my results. I don't like to waste time anywhere, so I have a step-by-step system on what I do. A lot of percent spend over 8 hours a week, and 40% of users log in daily. So it's really important for you to use any social media platform. Use it on a regular basis so that people see that you're engaged, that you're someone that can be relied on, and that you're going to get good information from you on a regular basis. And the average amount of time spent on LinkedIn is 17 minutes. And what I always make clients ask is 15 to 20 minutes because you really need to spend a bit of time on it. What I do is I set a timer. So I go on Facebook in the morning, I'll set my timer for 30 minutes, I know exactly what I'm going to do there, get that all done, timer goes, so the top 10 countries on LinkedIn are numbers. The United States is number 1 and Canada is actually number 5. Canada is a very connected nation. So if you wanted to do business with Canadians, we're very well connected on internet in general. On LinkedIn as well. So over 10 countries in Canada, 20% of Canadians are on LinkedIn, and that number keeps going up. This one is probably over 46% being on LinkedIn, so almost. And the top industries, finance is number 1, manufacturing, high tech, medical. This is kind of really interesting because if you are trying to connect with any one of these industries, they are on LinkedIn. It's really connected ways that you can try to connect with them. So here's Vancouver. Over 1 million people in Vancouver are on LinkedIn. And the other industry is finance and then high tech. And then you have some of the folks like arts. So if you want to connect with potential clients, find networking opportunities, find joint venture partners, there's a high number of users that being on LinkedIn with joint ventures, because there's so many amazing people out there that you can do projects together, whether they're local or global, and LinkedIn is a great place to find them. Also, you can get the opportunities. I'll share a bit more about that later too. So here's the 5 most important things to do on LinkedIn. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. Have a professional headshot and a strong title. That professional photo, you have no idea how important it is. I was looking at a client and we were reading his LinkedIn profile, and he said to me, "I really love this picture. It's me, and his wife is beautiful. On the beach in Hawaii. And he's a corporate kind of guy." And I said, "You know, you're going to pay more attention to your wife in the bikini than your ability to help them." So, strong headshot, nice and close, work with a professional who bring his accent, personality, and smile. Nothing worse than I see a lot of them, especially men, they tend to be really frowny. You know, like, let us see that you're a happy, nice person to work with. And you want a strong, specific title. I see a lot of people using the title business owner, CEO, or they come up with something really funky and creative. The reason that may not be a good idea for you is people don't go onto LinkedIn and search for that funky creative title that you need for yourself. You want to be showing up in the search of LinkedIn easily for people. So as you can see from mine, now I know that nobody's going to search past nominee for Canadian Entrepreneur of the Year, but that's kind of my biggest claim to fame so far until I actually win it. So I want that there because that gives me social proof and credibility. But I also have marketing consultant, social media demystifier, and I don't know how many people use the word demystifier, but I know a ton of people search for social media, and speaker, trainer. So make sure that your title reflects how people search. When I work with clients, the very first thing we do, before we even talk marketing or social media, is we really nail down who's your ideal client and find the platform they're on, and then we try to get into their head. And we think, what words would they use, what words, what phrases, would they use to search for you? So really think about it from your customer's perspective. Know your audience. Make it really clear in your profile who your target market is. So make it easy to know when people go and look, they can go, oh, this is a good fit for me. But if your profile and your summary are vague, you're going to get a lot of queries from people who aren't your ideal client, and you're going to waste a lot of time. So what you do by targeting clear, explaining who your target market is you allow people to self-select. So they can say, oh, yeah, that's me. I should talk to this person. Here's mine. So I tell people I specialize in working with entrepreneurs, sales managers, conference and event planners. Then I tell each one of these what I can do for them. So if someone comes to my profile and they don't fit into one of these categories, they'll leave, which is great because they're not my client anyway. But if they are, they already know the value they're going to get by working with you. So make it really clear on your profile who you work with and what you can do for them, what you can deliver. And I would encourage you to have no more than 4 categories. And I was working with actually a joint venture partner the other day and helping him on his LinkedIn profile. And he said, oh, but I've got 6, 7, I can't narrow it down. I said, yes, we have to. Because if you give people too much choice, they don't make any choice. So 3, 4 at the top. You also want to add extras to your profile. Extras give you what we call, again, social proof. That means that you're actively engaged in the community. And Matt was talking about this too, that when people go to an event, they post photos of that. If you've written a free report, put that on your LinkedIn profile. If you've got a video of yourself speaking, put that on your LinkedIn profile. I do a lot of speaking, and that's what I really focus on. So when I have a video on there of myself speaking at an event. I've got another one I just did last week that's going to be posted up there as well. And that video is also on my website, it's on my Facebook page, it's on my Pinterest page. Anywhere someone connects with me, they're going to see that video. So especially on LinkedIn, it really gives you an opportunity to make a personal connection with someone because they can hear you, they can see you. And photos of events. If you go to an event, and all the speakers are going to freak out when I say this, but have pictures taken with the speakers. Do a selfie with the speakers. Yeah, I'm shooting myself in the foot. I know. And then post those on your LinkedIn profile because again, it shows that you're actively engaged and that you are involved in your business. Make connections the right way. How many of you have ever seen one of these in your inbox? I'd like to add you to my professional network. Who's seen this? Who sent those? A few. We've all done that. It's bad. It's very bad. Like really, really bad. Because what it does, it makes you look lazy. And you don't ever want to appear to a potential client that you're lazy. So here's what you do instead. You give context. As an example, if one of you wanted to connect with me on LinkedIn, you could send me this and say, hi Wendy, I met you at Shetty's Social Media Mastery Conference and I'd love to connect with you on LinkedIn. Or what I do, and this is kind of a little secret tip that has worked extremely well for me to connect with the thought leaders in my industry, is anytime I read a great book or a blog post, or I go to an event and hear a high-profile speaker talk about their subject matter, I ask to connect with them on LinkedIn. And I will reference, just read your, Seth Godin. I've heard him speak, and I've also read almost all of his books. So when I heard him speak at the Art of Marketing last year in Vancouver, I reached out to connect with him and I said, hey, just heard your talk at the Art of Marketing, was super impressed, and I had taken tons of notes, so I referenced one of the key points he made, and I said, I'd love to connect with you on LinkedIn. Immediate connection. Step 2 of this process, if you want to get connected to these thought leaders and make an impression, is I went and gave him a recommendation right away. So he's seen my name twice. When we got connected, which I also referenced and praised what his work was, and be honest, I mean, don't just flatter people for the sake of, flattery. And twice when he saw that I'd given him a recommendation about his talk. So hopefully, down the road, if I was to run into him at a conference, I don't expect that he's going to remember my name, but it might, if I jogged his memory when we were introduced, he might. So if you want to reach out to thought leaders in your world, 2-step strategy. Reach out to them with a compliment and then leave a recommendation for them. And people often ask me is, if I don't know someone, what options do I have here? What I do is I always click that we've done business together, and then I just use my current business. Because I'm giving context anyway, so even if they don't recognize my business, they're gonna read my words. But if I was to just use we've done business together with my company, and then no context and use this template, highly likely they're not going to engage with me. And 5, this is what I call my silver bullet. This is the one thing I do that has gotten me more contacts, more media interviews, and more money than anything else I do on LinkedIn. When you make that connection, send a thank you. As an example, what I do, mine is something like, hey, thanks so much for connecting on LinkedIn. I really value the connections that I make here. I noticed on your profile, and I'll reference their profile because I want to really know who they are. I'll say something like, I noticed on your profile that you specialize in the oil and gas industry as a consultant. Is there a specific geographic area that you're focusing on? If I know someone in that field, I'd be happy to give you a lead. Just ask if you'd like any introductions that I can help you with. Then I say to them, this is a little bit about me, very brief. I just say I'm an entrepreneur with over 30 years experience building businesses, and this is how I might be able to help you. Now, if I've got a joint venture opportunity in mind, I'll say something like, we both serve similar client bases. If you're interested in doing a webinar together, any kind of project, article, writing an article together, or putting on an event, please get in touch with me. I'd love to chat. And that has built all my joint ventures on LinkedIn. Now, what also happens with this is people are shocked to get a thank you note. Very few people do it. And I had one last year when I was doing all these steps, and she emailed me back and she said, you're the first person that's ever thanked me for connecting. And I have like 1,000 connections. And she said, can I use your thank you as an example of good communications in my university communications class? She was a teacher. I said, absolutely. And she said, oh, by the way, I have a nationwide radio show here in the States. Do you want to be a guest? Yes. So I always told my kids when they were growing up, do a little bit more than everybody else and you stand out. So this is the little bit more that you can do on LinkedIn to really stand out. So here's my LinkedIn experiment. Like I said, I had never made a penny on LinkedIn. My biggest mistake was that I'd written my profile like a resume. And many of you may have that. You've written it in the third person. And you copied and pasted your resume, which is exactly what I did. People want to connect with you as a real person, exactly as Matt was saying. On every social media platform, that's what it's about, letting people know who you really are. So you need to rewrite that in the first person. So that was one of the things I did. But here's my experiment. So this was last year for Monday to Friday. I updated my profile. I made connections. I sent thank you notes to the new connections. I gave and got endorsements and recommendations, and there's a strategy around that too, how to do it right. And I joined groups and participated in them. So here's my results. My connections in 1 week went from 482 to 555. My recommendations 1 to 7. My endorsements for my top 10 skills went up almost 18%. My profile views in the previous 3 days went up 1,366%, but this is the one that was really important to me. When people searched any of the terms that I had in my profile, I showed up over 2,000% more. That's in 5 days. So you can get very quick results using LinkedIn. And I'm kind of taking it a little bit further along here. I just went to June last year because they've continued to increase. Now, one thing I will say to you, to get results like this, you need to be consistent. You need to be on LinkedIn every day. What I did else, I love to experiment and then teach people what I learned. So what I also did was I got off LinkedIn for 2 weeks. Didn't even log in, didn't do anything. And my numbers went way down. So again, it's all about engagement. So making sure that you're spending that 15, 20, 25 minutes a day on LinkedIn with a strategy. So you want to start on your home page. You want to look at what other people are posting. You like, you comment, you share. You can post articles that you've written, link to something that you're doing, to an event. For this event, I think 2 or 3 weeks prior, I was posting almost every day something about social media mastery. I also got a number of new joint ventures. I was invited to do a webinar for a group of authors who were co-authoring a book and wanted marketing help. So that was a free webinar, but out of that I got 2 coaching clients. I also got 3 new coaching clients just in general, and 2 people passed along my training information to their HR departments, and a whole bunch of speaking gigs. And I think the speaking gigs came as a result of when people connected with me, I had that video on my LinkedIn profile, so they could go and they could see what they were going to get if they hired me. Now, LinkedIn has a publishing platform now. I probably should take the word new because it's been around for about a year and a half now. But last year, they rolled it out to everybody. It first started out, you had to have a premium membership to be able to publish a long blog post on LinkedIn. So I wrote a blog post. I wanted to see, I got this, I think April 4th was when I got into this publishing, the ability to publish on LinkedIn. And you can write posts that are up to 2,000 words, which is quite a lot. So Monday, April 7th, I wrote a blog post called Why I Say No to Coffee Meetings. And it was basically the fact that I'm always analyzing things. How do I spend my time? What's the return on investment for my time? And I found the previous year, I've done a lot of coffee meetings. And what I found was most of the people that I was having coffee with just wanted to pick my brain for free. And we've all been there. So now I have a strategy. If someone wants to go for coffee, usually I refer them to this article, but I will say, what's the purpose of the meeting? Why would you like to meet? What's the goal? And sometimes they'll say, well, I just need to know about this. Oftentimes I can say, hey, there's a video on my YouTube channel that answers that specific question. Or I can give you 5 minutes on the phone and answer the question for you. Or here's a great article for you. 9 times out of 10, I didn't need to meet for coffee. I love to go for coffee with my friends, but I don't want to waste time on people just to chit chat. So I posted at 7 a.m. on a Monday morning. And here's what happened. At 9 a.m. I got an email from someone I don't know on LinkedIn. And on LinkedIn, every morning when you go to your homepage, they have, we recommend this for you to read today. It's called LinkedIn Pulse, and they kind of pick articles based on what you've read before, what's in your profile. So I got this email from this guy I didn't know, and he said to me, how did you get your articles while the recommended post to be read on LinkedIn today? I'm like, I don't know, I didn't know it was there. In 2 hours, over 10,000 people have read that post. Now, I've never gotten reach like that on my regular blog. 58 likes, 125 freaking comments, 18 tweets, 19 likes, even Google Plus, which I hardly ever use, I got 8, and 342 shares on LinkedIn. Now, what was really fascinating to me, 80% of the people agreed with me. 20% were vehemently angry with me. How can you be so selfish? Don't you know you have to pay it forward in business? Don't you know karma's going to come back and bite you in the ass? And I was like, okay, I really touched a hot button here. And I'm not sure if it was because I bolded the word no, which is, anybody that's raised children, that's a word we hear a lot. And coffee meetings. People either hate or love meetings. But it was quite fascinating. So as the day wore on, as the week went on, by Friday, 60,000 people had read the post. Over 500 people had commented on it. And 351 had liked it. But look at these shares, 94 tweets, 221 on Facebook, Google Plus, 51 shares on Google Plus, and LinkedIn over 2,200. Plus, it had been shared on 58 other websites and blogs. Now, I've never been able to repeat it, but this taught me a lot of things. This taught me, be true when you're writing. Don't pander to other people's opinions. Write what's true for you. And I actually answered every single one. My week literally blew up. This was a Monday. I did nothing else for the rest of the week. I canceled everything. And what was really fascinating was about, I think it was the next morning or maybe that afternoon when this was just going crazy. I thought some people have misunderstood me. I'm a giver. I'm a community volunteer. I'm a taker. And my feelings were hurt. And I thought, okay, Wendy, you've got to separate this. This is crazy. Don't, that's kind of silly to have feelings hurt. But they were. They were, it was more, my feelings were hurt. I was just like, people aren't seeing the real me. So I wrote a follow-up post called Why I Don't Always Say No to Opportunities. Well, things go again. And what was really fascinating with that, I'm going to write a book about this part, I think. The psychology of what happened after that. I got private messages from women saying, oh, I'm so sorry. Are you okay? Do you want to talk? And I got private messages from men saying, you didn't need to write that retraction, you know, you just stood your ground and had no reason to apologize. So I thought this is really interesting to step back and observe how men and women view things differently. So what came of that? 150 new connections. Many reached out to me to connect, but I also reached out to them. And in fact, I reached out to a number of people who disagreed with me because they'd done it eloquently and respectfully. And I read their profiles and I thought, this is someone I'd like to know. 2 radio interviews, 2 new coaching clients, and numerous joint ventures. So it was an amazing experience to see how one post, when it goes viral, how you can take advantage of that. And the reason I was able to leverage it is because I do have a system. When I reach out to people, there's a strategy there. It's reaching out, giving context, making comments, and then thanking them for the connection. If I had just ignored the comments or just liked them all and not reached out, none of this would have happened. So you need to have a strategy when you're using LinkedIn. So I wanted to open it up for questions. Okay, right at the back, someone's arm was up before I even said the word.
Are you going to put this online somewhere? Just the things you did for the 5 days before you can get it down and flip to the next slide really quick.
So if I heard correctly, the question is what were the 5 things what were the things I did for those 5 days? Okay.
Yeah.
So I updated my profile. I wrote it in the first person. I got rid of the resume style. Clearly identified who I was targeting and what I could offer them. Great professional headshot taken. Thanking people. When I reached out to people, I gave them context. I told them why I wanted to connect with them. Then I thanked people for that connection. And LinkedIn has a great feature too. Underneath your profile, underneath the profile of the person you're connected to, there's a little thing that says more information, I think it is, or contact. And you can add notes in there. So you can add how you met the person. You can set a follow-up in there. So if you want to reconnect with them in 2 weeks or 3 weeks or a month, you can do that. And LinkedIn will send you an email to remind you to do that. So you want to systematize everything as best you can. And make sure that you spend that time each day on LinkedIn. Yes? Yeah. You know, I do know some LinkedIn Monday to Friday tends to be more interactive. And I think because I kind of call LinkedIn the Facebook for grown-ups, because it's more professional. Here's the difference between Facebook and LinkedIn. Facebook is, you post a picture of your food that you had at lunch. LinkedIn, you say, I went to a luncheon and I heard this great speaker. So that's kind of the difference. Facebook is where people tend to go in their free time a bit more. So Facebook tends to be 7 days a week, but LinkedIn, I would say Monday to Friday. This lady in the back. Rena. Okay, so Rita's asking if why has LinkedIn kind of become this new crazy dating app for men who have nothing better to do than call women. So my response is when I'm on LinkedIn, I have a strategy. Part of that is I will only connect with you. I will only respond to you if you fit into one of 3 categories. 1, your potential joint venture partner. 2, your potential client. 3, your potential media opportunity. If none of the above, I don't even respond. And you could walk people off of things. And talk about it's possible. Yeah, we had. I know about other women. I was just saying, look, if you quit harassing me, my next step is to